Hi, my name is Udit Hinduja, and I'm reporting for ThePrint from the Indian School of Business in Hyderabad. I'm here to understand how an institution which was established in 2001 in such a short amount of time has climbed up the ranks and has become one of India's, and not just India's, but one of the globe's finest business schools. ISB was recently ranked number 5 in LinkedIn's global ranking of MBA programs, and this ranking is probably one of the most telling because it uses actual data of students, of alumni to kind of come up with its rankings. So, for an institute that was established roughly 25 years ago to climb up so high in the global rankings, it's honestly a phenomenal feat. And I'm here to speak to the dean, speak to faculty members, speak to students to really understand what's that secret sauce behind the Indian School of Business. What exactly has ISP done over the last couple of years to become one of the nation's finest and top business schools, MBA programs, and not just within the country but even globally?
My belief about the reason for ISB's success is very simple. It's the clarity of vision. Right at the beginning, the leader started off with a vision that ISB needed to be excellent in everything that it does. My brief is very simple. In anything that I do, I just look to see whether it enhances the reputation of the school and it enhances the ability of the school to do the things that it was set up to do. To give you an example, when we were starting and when we were thinking of launching a new program within the school, and this is a 2-year program, it's in its first year. What I was told very clearly by the different stakeholders that I interacted with is the launch of the program meant that this program, from the day that it was launched, it needed to be the best program of its kind in India. So that was very, very clear for me. In the other things, so anything else that we're looking at, whether we are raising funds, whether we are hiring faculty, what all at any point in time, what we're thinking about is that the school was designed to produce world-class research with India relevant content. So that is what guides me in the way that we are thinking through all of those decisions when it comes to faculty, when it comes to the kind of research, when it comes to the kind of funding that we do. So this clarity is what I think underpins the excellence of the Indian School of Business.
So the first person I spoke to about ISB's meteoric rise was Dr. Pramad Sinha. Dr. Sinha was the founding dean of ISB, one of the co-founding members of the institute, and what he told me was that from the very beginning, ISB was focused on excellence. So they wanted the best faculty, they wanted to admit the best students, top students. They wanted a fantastic campus, to create a solid learning environment for these students. And what ISP did right from the beginning was that they really relied on this visiting faculty model, which till today is something that they kind of lean on. In the early days when ISP was first started, they would get faculty from the globe's top business schools. So Kellogg, Wharton, the London Business School, who are their three partners till this day. And these visiting faculty would come for a term. They would teach over here, and students, that means from the get-go, were getting top quality faculty.
So, an important change that we brought into the curriculum this year was the rollout of experiential learning projects. This essentially, the objective of this learning intervention was to provide students opportunities to exercise the learning in the classroom so that they gained an understanding not just of the content of business but also the context of business, right? The idea was to provide opportunities for unstructured learning, where they would gain an understanding of the messy nature of business, the messy nature of the context of business, right? So that was the objective. And this was an outcome of our deep reflections on what is it that we can do in our classrooms that cannot be replicated in standardized online environments, right? There is so much growth in digital learning, there is so much growth in information that's available to students, that we had to really think very deeply about what is it that they can do in our classrooms that cannot be replicated in these environments. And that's what led us to introduce experiential learning projects for all students. Now, the scale of this innovation was huge, right? Because we're talking about rolling out experiential learning to all 800 students. So this year, we brought in 160 projects that every single one of our students got an opportunity to work on. And these were diverse projects, right? From leadership challenges to supply chain redesign to understanding impact in the social sector, a whole bunch of projects that we brought in. And there was so much that was new about this to the school. We had to think carefully about how to source these projects. What were the criteria for sourcing these projects? We had to think carefully about the pedagogical framework for these projects. Set up cycles of action and feedback and reflection where students could reflect on the work they had done and to promote discovery-based learning. Right. So there was the whole pedagogical framework, and then there was this the need to assess the impact of these projects and understand whether students were really creating the impact that they sought to create. The scale made this huge, the scale made this incredibly challenging. I mean, it's different to do 3 or 5 projects, and we've traditionally done about 20 odd projects, but here was 160 projects at scale. So making sure that excellence and quality and learning was happening at this scale was a huge challenge. And I think we did a good job on it.
Now, ISB also has a very diverse student body, and unlike India's traditional IIMs, the students over here at ISB also come in with a significant amount of work experience. So the average age of an ISB admit who's in the PGP program, which is the India's version of an MBA, is about 25 years. So a lot of these students come in with a couple of years of work experience, and they come from diverse backgrounds. So I met students over here who were from consulting, from banking, from marketing, HR, startups, law. So I met a person who was a philosophy major. So a lot of these students have come in from diverse backgrounds. And what happens then is that in the classroom, a bunch of different types of discussions are ongoing with different perspectives and different points of view.
Hi, I'm Anurag Roy. I'm 27 years old and I'm coming from KPMG with a cybersecurity background. I chose ISB because it has a unique mix wherein it is part of India's growing story as well as it has a lot of people from very diverse backgrounds. So having 4.5 years of work ex, joining up at an IIM didn't make much sense for me because the cohort tends to be younger. Whereas here you have people from consulting, you have media, marketing, so on and so forth. So that is something that I really valued, and that is why I think I'm glad to be here at ISB.
I'm Jigisha. I'm the Director of Alumni Affairs here at ISB. I think when it came to coming to ISB, one major factor was the alumni community. I remember when I was working in Startup India, I spoke to a lot of industry leaders and they all spoke really highly about ISB. And a lot of the alums that we see today are working in all of these CXO roles in some of the biggest companies. So that was definitely a factor. I think even now as a Director of Alumni Affair, I have a lot of engagement with a lot of alums, and we make sure that we have ongoing mentorships as well as support from alums over the year. So I think that's been the most important factor for me.
This video is just scratching the surface. We have a much longer piece that explores the Indian School of Business and does a full profile on the institute and how it has risen over the last couple of years. You can find that piece on ThePrint, but for more such videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.